and to push their disinformation about their country. What have you read about what's going on with those people?
Yeah, you're correct, man. I mean, these guys, they went to the US, they had a meeting with senior Trump advisors where they basically said that, the white minority Afrikaner group is persecuted in the country, that Trump must, basically come and intervene. There are attacks against their language Afrikaans through the signing of the Bella Act. They've spoken about white genocide. I mean, they've
Yeah, it's
talked about
shocking.
that on different platforms, saying that there is targeted attacks against white farmers in South Africa. So this has basically led to Trump saying recently that very bad things are happening in South Africa, and we saw him, signing that executive order with withholding aid from the country. Yeah, man, and he basically extended, you know, uh, refugee status to them, saying that they must come to America to basically escape this supposed genocide in South Africa. Well, we have seen some saying that they're not going anywhere. They are been in the country. Their forefathers have been in the country for ages, so they want basically they've got much connection to South Africa than any other country. So, man, what else? What happened is that also the recent meeting that Afriforum had in the White House, we saw them handing over a memorandum which basically states that they want to be resettled in the southern tip of South Africa, which is basically
Yes.
the Western Cape,
Okay.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so they're talking about that. They're talking about the Afrikaans language. They're opposed to Bella, and it's an attack against their culture, their language. So, I mean, it was interesting seeing Trump signing recently an executive order saying that English is the official language of.
After saying that they must come
After
there.
saying that they must come. So, I mean, these are people who really pride themselves in their language and culture. So, it will be interesting to see whether they will be able to assimilate and ditch their language for English. So yeah, man, crazy things have been happening over the past few weeks.
But it's been also been interesting to see some white South Africans, calling Afriforum to order, something that we're not used to see.
Exactly, man. I think they've really rubbed up people the wrong way. I think a large portion of the population has really been up in arms to say that, look, these guys are lying. There is no white genocide here. There are no targeted, there is no genocide against white farmers. There is no
Yes.
expropriation of land without compensation. Yes, the Expropriation Act was signed into law, but I mean, there is no expropriation of land here, but they go out onto these countries spreading false news, disinformation, and lies, basically saying that yeah, this is the case, and Trump
Yes.
must intervene. And we also know that one of the reasons that Trump signed that executive order is because of our stance on global affairs, the case that
Yes,
South Africa
involving
took to
Israel,
the Geneva.
yes.
Exactly. So those are some of the issues. So I mean, it's crazy that these guys are calling for Trump to come and interfere on our internal, domestic affairs. Uh, South Africa is a sovereign country.
Yes.
It's got each and every right to not sell its sovereignty over, aid that comes with conditions in any case.
And we know that aid is there to interfere.
Exactly. I mean, these guys
in
have
governments
been
and regime
this,
changes. Yes.
Bringing aid to
Yes.
whip countries into line, to exploit them. I mean, we saw Trump during that very highly publicized meeting with Ukraine president saying that
Yes.
they want a minerals deal on the table. Zelensky doesn't have any cards to play and everything. So you can say that their foreign policy has always been on accumulation. What can we get?
Absolutely.
Exactly. So From where I'm sitting, I think, man, if it really comes down to that, then they can keep their aid if it means South Africa must sell
It's
its
sold, yeah.
its soul and sovereignty. I know that
Mm.
that aid was basically used to address issues of HIV and AIDS in the country. I believe that South Africa could actually plug that hole if it were to, address issues of corruption, fruitless and wasteless,
Expenditures, yes.
exactly all those fruitless, wasteful, irregular expenditures, which basically run into billions
Absolutely,
of rand
yes,
if one
yes.
looks on what has been happening over the past year. So we could easily plug that hole and did
Absolutely.
not rely on any alleged superpowers that want to weaponize their strength and superiority or economic strength to whip us into line, to look down at our domestic and global principles. So I want to say that indeed, South Africa must not fold.
Absolutely, my brother. It was quite interesting as well because a lot of people were looking at government or or the president to say what must be done to punish these people who go and commit acts that have been labeled as treasonous against South Africa.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you check on social media, people have been saying that these are borderline